All right, Zach.
Yeah.
You ready to record Scream 6?
Let's do it, my friend.
All right. 3,
2.
1. Who would be calling me?
I mean, we haven't started yet. You can take it.
All right. Hello.
Hello, Mitch and Zach. I hear you're doing another review about one of my films.
Yeah, and we ate up your last film, so we don't see what the problem is.
Is this your favorite scary movie?
I don't know about that.
Well, what he's saying is Scream 5 was good, but your original was...
So you're saying you've got stab fatigue?
Yes.
Okay, Mitch. Let's play a game.
A game. I've seen games before. What?
Mitch.
There's no game here. Ow! What was that for?
Mitch!
What?
I'll show you stab fatigue.
Zach? Hi, friends.
I'm Zach,
I'm Mitch.
and we are Excellent Little Podcasts.
We're presenting you a little movie podcast starring Zach and Mitch. You can lose the ghost face voice, Zach.
Yeah, you're right. I think we're doing a podcast, not a horror movie.
Yeah,
We're reviewing a horror movie,
Yeah, we
though.
are reviewing a horror movie and our first sequel.
Yeah, a sequel to
One
us.
that we reviewed. Yeah.
Our sequel.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, so we are reviewing Scream 6, the sixth film in the Scream franchise. Studio brought to you by Paramount, director Matt Bettinelli Alpin and Tyler Gillette. Screenplay, James Vanderbilt, Guy Busick, and Kevin Williamson.
Yeah.
That's kind of a mouthful.
It's quite a bit of a mouthful, but
Yeah.
Mitch, what do you think of that mouthful?
Well, because so I'm gonna clump the director and the screenplay if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah.
Because basically the directing duo and the screenplay duo / trio, they're the same group of people, or at least close to the same group of people that did Scream 2022, the one that we saw together.
Yep.
And we both enjoyed that film.
We really enjoyed that film.
And I also felt that they learned from the mistakes from that first film that film that was made last year. And they kind of took the feedback. They took notes. They're like, okay, how are we going to make this film better than what the last one was? And they delivered a very successful franchise extender. Because this film this franchise keeps going and going and going, and I just feel like it's gotten better with age, and it's because of this new, fresh blood. And the reason why I also say this, and I love Wes Craven, but 1 through 4 they got worse over time.
Yeah.
Whereas this, they're appealing to a brand new audience in the 2020s. So, and that's really hard to do. So this group of people know what they're doing with this franchise.
Yeah.
But what'd you think?
Yeah, I think screenplay and director wise, they really did a good job. And like you said, I feel infusing this new blood has really helped this franchise a whole bunch. Did they do as well of a job as Scream 5? I don't think so. If I have to say out of the two, I think Scream 5 was better, but this is still by no means a bad film. It was really fun from top to bottom. The screenplay was really witty. They got around quite a bit of really good things in a really good fashion.
Sure.
But there were also some other kind of glaring things that we'll talk about when we get to the spoiler section that I really have to talk about. That really kind of got me. It was like, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so summary, in the next installment, the survivors of the Ghostface killings leaving Woodsboro behind and a fresh chapter in New York City.
Thank you, IMDb.
Thank you, IMDb.
All right, so it's none of our top 10,
Nope.
but
But it was our first review
of
of
2022.
22.
So, it's my turn.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Zach. I grew up, and I think I mentioned this last year. I grew up on scary films.
Yeah,
Friday
you
the
did.
13th, Scream, Halloween, all those slasher-esque films. And I always think back, like Scream. The original Scream was the first scary film that I watched, and I was terrified. I don't think I mentioned that last year.
I don't think you did either. But yeah.
But this one, it didn't feel like a prototypical Scream film. And I both loved that, and I also kind of hated it at the same time.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is because it did add a fresh take to this expanding franchise, but also it kept it a little too grounded, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because it's a horror film.
Yeah.
The horror films are like one of the least grounded kind of films in today's day and age.
Sure.
And we'll get to that in
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still really enjoyed the film, but I just feel like they tried to make it a little too like, I wonder what would happen if this occurred in this big city.
Sure.
New York City. And I'm just like, I like it, but I also hate it.
Sure.
Because I did love the aspect of like bringing it to New York City and
Yeah.
not just staying in a small town of Woodsboro. Because like New York City, anything can happen in New York City, and like this, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But like Scream in New York City, I love it, but I also hate it. But what do you think, Zach?
Yeah. I once again, I think Scream 5 was stronger than this movie, but overall, I love the core cast that came over from 5 bleeding into 6 was really, really good. The legacy characters that come in on this one were really, really nice and added a nice touch to it. I feel, however, the legacy characters that did come in, while they added a nice touch, it wasn't as story driven or weighted as it was as the last one.
It was more fan service.
It was more fan service. Even though, but admittedly, I enjoyed a little bit of the fan service too. So I feel dirty by saying I kind of enjoyed it a little bit, but to say that I hated this film would be wrong, and to say that it's Shakespeare would be wrong. But
And this ain't Shakespeare.
I genuinely enjoyed it.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and talk about some of these cast performances.
Yeah.
But there's really two in mind that you really got to talk about,
Because everybody else is kind of a spoiler.
everyone else is kind of a spoiler.
Yeah, so-
especially for like Scream 5 as well. If you
Yeah.
talk about the so
Because I have talked to a few people, they haven't seen the newest, not this Scream, but
The
the Scream
2022.
before.
Yeah.
So we have Melissa Barrera as Sam Carpenter, the leading lady, and she did well. Did she did great? No. I can tell we're going to disagree
Yeah.
on this. But there were some moments in the film that I can't really discuss that she did nail. And it was later in the film.
Sure.
And she nailed it. But at the beginning, there were some choices that she made on some line deliveries. I'm just like, you could have played that a little bit better, but that's why I'm not an actor anymore. I retired. But she did good. I thought her performance in this one was better than the last one, in my opinion. But
Okay.
it's still, I kind of left the theater wanting.
Sure.
But there's also a part of me that thinks like maybe that's what they wanted to accomplish. So if they did that, she did her job.
yeah.
So Zach,
Well, honestly, I loved her when she was in the Heights, so I was really intrigued when I heard that she was going to be in the Scream 5, and I really loved her performance in Scream 5. She's I don't know. She's kind of better yet worse in this one. There
Yeah.
are moments where I feel like she really gets the character and she's really down with it, and I'm like, yeah, that is Sam Carpenter.
Yeah.
And then there are other moments where like, that was Melissa.
yeah. So I think you and I are both agreeing. Like there were just some choices that she made were just a little off.
There were some choices that did draw me out, but overall, I still really enjoyed her performance in this one.
Yeah.
It was still very strong. But if I'm talking about strong, an actress that continually impresses me,
Jenna
Ortega as Tara
Carpenter.
Oh my God, can this woman do no wrong?
Yeah, I still haven't seen Wednesday, but I've
You
seen.
need to, man.
I've
you
seen-
need to.
I've seen the dance. But like, she is young. She is not 21 years old yet. She is 20 years old. So think of where her career has, and also there was some behind the scenes drama in Wednesday that she actually backed up. Like she actually like helped with the screenplay a little bit.
Yep.
Like that's strong for a 20-year-old going against like Tim Burton and Netflix. So I got to give her kudos to that. But this one, she's starting to come into that like, hey, I am also not just an actress, but I'm also an artist.
Yeah.
She's getting to that point where like, you know, when actors become not just actors, but they're coming like
they
artists.
become creatives.
They become creatives. They become collaborators. They become artists. They become collaborators.
They become their own voice.
Absolutely. And that she is at that point in her career at
And
only
only at
20.
20.
So yeah, she did so well in this film. Yeah.
Definitely the strongest performance in this film.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. But you mentioned earlier New York City. The city that never sleeps is our setting for this one.
Yeah. So I loved it and I hated it.
Yeah, I would love to hear what you actually had to say about what you loved and what you hated on this.
So the stakes are higher, and that's what I loved. But there's also a point where like they only touched upon like a certain small, I don't want to say small, but only a certain section of New York.
Yeah.
Like a minor spoiler here, we don't end up in like Times Square. We don't end up.
But yet we don't leave Manhattan Island.
Yeah,
We stay in Manhattan.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like I kind of wanted a broader area that they played with because it's New York City, but they also filmed in Quebec, Canada. So I don't know if that was a budget thing or whatever, but
Probably.
I kind of wanted more of the city, and I get it. And the reason why I think they want it so condensed is because it's Scream. It's always set in a smaller town or a smaller area, like a college area in Scream 2, or it's like a small like Hollywood or whatever. But here it's New York City. Think of what they could have done, and they just didn't deliver, in my opinion. But the stakes were really high, and that's what I really loved about them putting it in New York City.
Sure.
Now, Zach, fire away.
Yeah, no, I think they definitely use New York City a little bit more to their strength because they realize, again, it's the city that never sleeps. Eyes are on you at all points in time, a lot of the time. So, and you kind of see in the trailer, you go to the subway, you go to a convenience store. So our main heroes use that to their advantage a lot, which I really was hoping for that they would do in New York, and they do. But at the same time, I also did kind of like that they used kind of the smallness of it as well to kind of focus on the characters. That way it didn't get as broad. So actually, when you say that was a fault, I actually say that as a win. But that's okay. It's okay to disagree on that one.
Yeah.
But
there's an elephant in the room.
there is.
Neve Campbell, Sidney Prescott is not in this film.
Yeah. Which they explain why.
Yeah, but you know, I got to give kudos to her because if she's not getting paid, she doesn't need to be in the film if she's not getting paid the right amount. So
that's fair.
I support her as an artist.
Yeah. If she should be paid what she feels is worth, and if it's not worth, or if the role is not going the way that she thinks the character should go, then
Because in all honesty, her role in last year, it was a glorified cameo.
yeah, it was a glorified cameo.
So I think that's probably what it was going to be in this one.
Probably even more so if I had to guess
Yeah.
based off of how they treated our other legacy character.
So yeah, if she comes back for later installments, I'd be all for it. But with this one, her presence wasn't missed.
No, it actually wasn't.
No.
Actually.
But that's because of the newer characters that they brought in with last one and this one. Okay, but there's a non-spoiler section.
Yeah.
We're going to start a review.
Yep.
Zach, why don't you go?
Okay, absolutely. So, again, I thought Scream 5 was better. However, I still really enjoyed this film. So I will say that I did eat it up in terms of Scream 6.
Sure.
It was still a very solid film. Sure. There are holes in it, but I still enjoyed it coming out of it. So I will say I ate this film up.
Solid. So I'm also going to agree. I ate this up. I really don't know where I would rank it in the franchise. I don't know if this is better or worse than the last year's one. That might be another video if we ever talk about franchises or whatever.
That's fair.
Right now I ate it up. I'm not going to put it in any ranking.
Okay.
But just the sheer gravity of having it in New York.
Yeah.
Like just the thought of it just had me so excited, and they delivered
to an extent.
Yeah. Casted well. Some things at the end kind of made me wanting more, but we're going to get to that.
Sure. But
speaking of, before, so go ahead and leave us a like, hit the subscribe button, hit our notification bell, or email us at elpodcastmz@gmail.com. Yeah. But it's time, my friends. What's our alarm?
Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
It's spoiler time, baby.
Sure. It's time for spoilers.
We are ready for this, my friends. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to dip out, that's okay. But we are officially into spoilers. So let's start with the intro. And let's not do a play-by-play. Let's just kind of talk about the things that we liked here, my friend. I'm not going to lie. I have to say, I really loved the beginning.
I did too.
When we had our fake Ghostface unmask himself.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This, because the trailer.
That doesn't happen.
Because here's the thing. The big line that came from the trailer was, I am not a normal Ghostface. I am, this is a Ghostface that's never been done before. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This really is something that's never been done before by unmasking right away.
Yeah, he kills somebody. And he unmasked himself. And I pulled a Zach because Zach, when something surprises you, you're like, oh.
I'm very rarely surprised, but whenever I do, I'm vocal about it.
And I literally did this. I'm like, oh. And I was like, I'm all for this.
Yeah.
But then
we find out that is actually our first victim.
Second and third.
Yes, they are a victim of
circumstance.
The original
first lady.
The first kill is a victim of circumstance, but our first victim of the
that
film
we see,
from Ghostface proper is
the fake.
Is the pseudo Ghostface.
Yeah, and that had me. I'm like, okay,
that was
now.
Good.
But then, because you're thinking like, oh, this is the killer. We're gonna have to watch out for him. But then it turns to like, now this is what I was expecting. And then it did the Scream 6 logo, which I actually completely forgot that I was in the film. I'm like, oh, they're going to do it without the logo. And then it was. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm all for that. So speaking of Ghostface.
Yeah. The actual
Ghost
faces.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's three this time. Not one, not two, as there normally was.
Yeah.
There are three.
Absolutely.
One is the cops. So if you're watching this, watch out, my friends. By Detective Bailey, played by Dermot Mulroney, and his son and daughter. Son, Ethan Landry, whose fake name and is played by Jack Champion.
Yep.
And Liana Liberato, who plays his daughter, Quinn Bailey, who we thought died.
Yeah, genuinely. My rule for is this character dead is that you have to genuinely see the body.
And we did.
And we thought we did.
Yeah.
So I love that they played that.
Yeah.
I was really, really, really happy that we played it. However, we didn't see the act of murder.
No, we didn't.
That's where I have to add a caveat.
Yeah,
now when I do it, I have to see the knife go in.
But also, the son, I saw that coming. I saw that coming from a mile away.
Everyone knew that was a mile away. And I feel like that was a good way to go. Like, okay, yes, we get to see one of the killers from a mile away. But Quinn Was
No.
not expecting.
The Cop?
That was good. The Cop was, I was like, okay, I buy
I
that.
could see it, yeah.
I was like, okay, he's possibly it.
But
But
the daughter.
the daughter didn't see that one coming, and that one was good. Props to you guys on that one.
Also, Zach, I know this isn't our notes. How lively was your audience?
Not very.
Mine was lively because I went to the 3D fan event. I got I got a poster for it. But my whole theater, which was decently full,
Okay.
they were like, oh, and I've never heard any like group of people start cheering in the middle of a horror film.
I did get one reaction when it was revealed that the Cop was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
They thought it was Hayden Panettiere's character, which she did well in this film.
Yeah. I did hear a guy say, "I knew it." So, well, I was like, "Oh yeah, fair." But really, overall, my audience wasn't too reactive.
Yeah, but yeah, there are 3 ghost faces, so watch
Which
out
I
for
thought
that.
that was good.
I really enjoyed.
I really
that.
did enjoy that because
There was a scene where
that's always the thing that I feel like you're always trying to fight with Scream. Is it one killer? Is it two?
And now
we have to be
3.
expecting 3.
Well, and there was a scene where like they seemingly kill one character who turns out to be, can you say it?
Yeah.
Turns out to be alive later, even though he should have died.
Okay, but here's the thing. That's the thing. We're kind of getting to this. The ending.
No, I'm talking about when after they stab, both ghost faces like turn and they both wipe off the blood.
Oh, yeah.
That was a moment.
That was a good moment.
I turn. They both turn to the camera and they both do the little shing at the same time in perfect unison, and they're like, that is a scene.
That's a scene.
That
That's
is a
iconic.
scene.
That's gonna
Yeah.
go into like Scream, like whenever like
Folklore,
they're
yeah.
doing like Scream cut, like a cut, like
Yeah.
collage. That scene better be in every damn one of them because
Yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah, that was
but
neat.
the one you're talking about, the character you're talking
Yeah.
about is Chad. Who, if you remember, if you've seen Scream 5, he got fucking brutally kicked up in that one. They cut his Achilles, they stabbed him multiple times in the back, and then somehow he survived. I love the character, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He's one of the strongest characters I feel like in the Scream franchise. Him and his sister, I freaking love those two. But oh my god,
This guy takes even
he
more
takes
of a
even more. He's taking it from 2 ghost faces, just getting absolutely mauled the entire time, and he's going down, and they keep stabbing, and at the very fucking end,
He's alive.
he's fucking alive again.
Yeah.
I want to fucking have him. If I'm ever in a Scream movie, I want to have him there because he's got the thickest plot armor a side character has ever had in any movie ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And there's a nice.
It's so I love the character. I really do.
But die.
Oh my god.
Learn how to die.
It was so breaking. Like literally when that was, to be honest, my big reaction to the film is when he came out, I was like, oh, I was like, are you kidding? We're doing this again.
Yeah. Well, and also there's a nice moment when Sam has the ghost face mask because she actually like puts on the costume and kills the other 3.
Yeah.
And she looks at the costume because you do see her dad, Billy Loomis, again, which that was a nice little.
Again, but that's another thing. If you remember on our last review, I said you should drive into that more.
Yeah, but they didn't do it
They
more.
did not do it.
They did
I
at the very
not
end.
happy with that.
But she looks at the mask and you feel it like, oh, she's gonna turn, and then she drops it and just leaves it. I'm like, okay, that's a nice little hook. And there's a post-credit scene.
It's not a post-credit scene. Not every movie needs a post-credit scene, Mitch.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Scream 6.
But I will say, it does set up, I feel like this is going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't say this about a lot of movies. This subset of the franchise should end as a trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes, make a Scream 8, make a Scream 9, make a Scream 10. I'm okay with that. Bring in new blood after that, because
So after 7.
Correct. Their story should end at 7, whatever it is. I don't care if that means all of them die. I don't care if it means that none
Somebody
of them die.
dies, yeah.
Their
Whatever.
story has to wrap up at 7.
Yeah.
There's not much story left to tell. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
there is still story to tell because all 4 did go in and come out.
Maybe in like a spin-off show on Paramount Plus or whatever. But
Yeah, but like
not in the film.
the next film, that's it for these guys.
Yeah.
They can be legacy characters. I don't care, but this is it for them.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Scream 6.
Yeah.
So, all right, my friends, don't forget to leave us a like, hit the comment section, subscribe, ring that notification bell.
Ding.
Or if you want to get up close and personal, email us at elpodcastmz@gmail.com. But until next time, my friends,
I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are
An excellent little podcast.